Hi, welcome to my financial markets recap for the week. It's John here at commonwealth.com. Signs of life, finally, in the stock market. This year it's been pretty crazy, and things are starting to turn around by the looks of it, certainly in the short term here. Obviously, from our point of view, it's been great to see the latest entry we had, take quite a sizable move here to the upside, because we're getting near the bottom here. So, big move higher, wonderful for the system, really pleased for it. Still a little time to go in terms of the forecast higher, but looks like we nailed this one pretty well. Subject to more volatility on the way potentially next week, so we'll see. So far, so great. So that was the system update. What happened in the financial news this week? Big news on inflation. Really, that was the main key, and that was really out today. The main key for the whole week was it's all about inflation and prices hiking and all the rest of it. So the core personal consumption expenditure price index, which is a bit of a mouthful, it's actually the Fed's preferred inflation gauge, rose 4.9% from a year ago in April. That was in line with expectations. However, it was showing a decline on month because last month it was 5.2%. So a bullish sign for stocks, as was sort of shown today in the market as it headed higher. Of course, inflation for the last several months has been, spiking, and it's not been this high since the 1980s, basically. And it's the inability for supply to keep up with demand, and it's pushing prices higher because of the clogged global supply chain, which is happening due to COVID and beyond COVID. And now the war in Ukraine has obviously exacerbated that situation completely. And there's the prices of fuel and food is skyrocketing, and there's potential food shortages. That's a big worry right now. So while inflation report has generated some relief today, no doubt relief to the White House as well, because they're obviously very, very much on this for the re-election stuff. The gasoline prices will be a factor again, because that report out in a few days' time will show the prices are still rising in gasoline, which is not good for politics, not good for us personally. It jumped more than 11% for the previous month, and it's up 51% this time last year. So crazy moves in gasoline prices. That has to something has to give there. And speaking of inflation, the world's financial elite gathered in Davos this week at the World Economic Forum, and really showing a bleak economic outlook was the major talking point, as we're all experiencing through the news and things. With food being the biggest worry, the surge in food prices is raised as the central threat. It was raised as a central threat by the director of the International Monetary Fund, who said in a panel on Monday that the economic horizon has darkened due to the combination of the Russia-Ukraine war, tightening financial conditions, the dollar appreciation, and a slowdown in China. So 4 bad things that are happening for the cost of food. And they're really referencing the commodity price shocks that are happening in many countries around the world, and in particular in food prices. So that's what's showing up. But it wasn't always bad news that this week. Apart from the inflation report that came out today, there was news on the newswires reported that there's a possibility of safe passage and a passage corridor for some cargo ships to get through from Ukraine, and obviously the market seemed to cheer that on Thursday. Possibly a glimmer of light that calmed the market this week, and hopefully will be a positive impact on lowering food costs soon. That was the inflation for the week. In tech, there was a big shock this week in social media as Snap lost $15 billion in market cap on Tuesday. It was gapping right down there. They said they expected to miss their earnings targets for the quarter, and it will slow down their hiring as well. So they blame the economic conditions that have deteriorated further, certainly further than they had anticipated them being. So despite the market rebound this week on Thursday and Friday in terms of the overall broad market, Snap is still down considerably and hasn't recovered much. I think at one point it was down 43%. In that one day that the first day it dropped. I think it's gone up a little bit since then, but not much. So it's really taken the brunt of that pullback there. Worst day ever for the company, obviously, so it'll take a while to recover from that. So that was the major news this week. It was really all about inflation and a little bit of a shock from Snapchat. Interesting fact this week was New York City's last payphone was removed this week. Never mind everyone having a phone in their pocket. The thought of using a payphone is just so gross in today's modern Western world. But that's how it used to be. They used to be everywhere, and now the last one has disappeared from New York City. So how the world has changed. That's it from me. It's Friday, time to down tools. Have a great weekend, everyone, and bye for now.